Today we're unpacking a multi-billion-dollar corporate war that is completely reshaping India's beverage market right now. It is a massive, high-stakes battle for total dominance. And you know what the craziest part is? It's hiding right in plain sight. Let's dive into this.
You know that everyday, mundane glass front refrigerator you see at the local store? What the industry calls a Visi cooler? Well, it's actually the primary battleground for a massive corporate showdown. The next time you walk into a local Kirana store to grab a cold drink, you aren't just looking at a fridge. You are looking at a highly contested piece of real estate. It's essentially the Trojan horse of modern retail.
Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. First, the retail fridge war, then the rise of Campa Cola. After that, the zero deposit strategy, followed by the retailer rebellion, manufacturing cold dominance, and finally, the dairy exception.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the retail fridge war, battling for shelf space. Let's zoom out for a second to really understand the strategic importance of this asset and introduce the warring factions. For decades, India's staggering 67,000 crore plus beverage market was a comfortable, totally predictable duopoly. It was Coke, it was Pepsi, and that was kind of it. But a third major player has literally crashed the party, turning what used to be a two-way street into a chaotic three-way collision. The battle for shelf space has absolutely never been this intense.
Let's look at the actual numbers on the ground right now. Historically, Coca-Cola holds the lion's share. We're talking roughly 40 to 60%. PepsiCo usually sits comfortably in second with about 25 to 30%. But look at that new slice right there. Our new challenger has rapidly snatched up 7 to 11% nationally, and they're even hitting double digits in several states. They didn't just enter the market, they violently disrupted it.
Moving right along to Section 2, Rise of Campa Cola, the Reliance disruption.
Get this, Reliance swooped in, acquired the legacy Campa brand for just 22 crore rupees. And then they dropped an absolute bomb on the market. They launched 200 milliliter bottles for just 10 rupees. 10 rupees! That is literally half the price of their competitors for similar sizes. It's a classic, massive disruption play aimed squarely at price-sensitive rural and semi-urban markets.
But here's the thing, right? Having a cheap product is great, but people actually need to see it, and it absolutely has to be ice cold. So to push these deeply discounted bottles, Reliance pulled a classic beverage industry move. They started aggressively placing these vibrant neon purple coolers directly into stores to ensure prime visibility. I mean, it's an unavoidable bright purple billboard sitting right inside the shop, loudly declaring that Campa has arrived.
Which brings us to Section 3, the zero deposit strategy, the corporate trap.
So, companies offer retailers these beautifully branded coolers on what they call a zero deposit scheme. Sounds amazing, right? Like free refrigeration. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a trap. If a shopkeeper accepts one of these fridges, they are instantly locked into some serious pressure. We're talking strict monthly and quarterly sales targets. They have to comply with a very specific SQ product mix, meaning they must stock the exact ratio of cola, lemon, and orange that the company demands. Plus, they have to give absolute priority or even exclusive display space to that specific brand. And all of this, it's enforced by constant visits, and frankly, sometimes literal shouting from visiting sales managers.
With all these sales teams constantly pushing these strict performance conditions and breathing down the necks of small business owners, we really have to ask this crucial question. How much of this intense corporate pressure are shopkeepers actually willing to put up with?
And that takes us to Section 4, the retailer rebellion, fighting for freedom.
This immense sales pressure and the shifting power dynamics have basically created two entirely different realities on the ground. On one side, you have the traditional locked-in model, a Coke fridge filled exclusively with Coke products. But on the flip side, we're seeing financially stronger shopkeepers buying their very own independent coolers from brands like Western and Blue Star. Why? To literally buy their freedom. If they own the hardware themselves, they can stock Coke right next to Pepsi, right next to Campa, without any corporate sales rep yelling at them about exclusivity rules.
And the sheer scale of this retailer rebellion is pretty staggering. While the major beverage companies are collectively shoving over 500,000 branded units into the market, shopkeepers are quietly going out and purchasing nearly 500,000 of their own independent coolers. Think about that. The local retailer is spending their own hard-earned capital just to escape the corporate fridge trap. Now let's dive into Section 5, Manufacturing Cold Dominance, the Arms Race.
Behind the scenes, there's a massive manufacturing arms race happening, with two totally opposing boardroom strategies at play. On one hand, you have Pepsi's largest bottler in India, Varun Beverages. They are going all in on backward integration, dropping over 21 crore rupees into a joint venture called White Peak with Everest so they can physically build their own fridges. They want total control of the cold chain. But juxtaposed against that is Campus' current strategy. They're going entirely asset-light, heavily relying on third-party manufacturing partners like Western Refrigeration to just churn out those purple fridges as fast as humanly possible.
Because of this insane hardware battle between the corporate titans, plus the huge push from independent shopkeepers, the commercial refrigeration market in India is projected to just absolutely explode. We're talking a massive jump from roughly $2.8 billion today, hurling toward a staggering $3.9 billion by 2034. Honestly, the real winners of these cola wars might just be the folks building the fridges.
Finally, let's look at Section 6, the dairy exception, Amul's alternate path. Stepping away from the neon-colored colas for a second, let's talk about Amul. This dairy giant is absolutely thriving in the beverage space, with things like milkshakes, lassi, and cold coffee. But they do it completely differently. They rely entirely on national cooperative trust and sheer product quality. They are perfectly happy to sit in retailer-owned coolers rather than playing that aggressive, exclusive hardware game. You'll almost never see a locked-in, dedicated Amul Visicooler. They just let consumer demand naturally dictate their shelf space. But here's a fascinating twist. When Amul tried to cross over into the carbonated game and launched Amul True Cola, it completely failed. They realized pretty quickly that you can't just stroll into the market without that aggressive cooler infrastructure in place. This failure perfectly highlights just how specialized, hardware-dependent, and utterly brutal the cola fridge war really is. Bottom line, you just can't fight in the cola wars without a rock-solid fridge strategy. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a quick provocative thought for the next time you walk past your local shop. As Reliance continues this massive market disruption and local retailers aggressively fight back for their independence, who is ultimately going to own the cold chain? Will it be the giant multinational corporations or the independent local shopkeeper? Seriously, take a closer look at the fridge next time you grab a cold drink. It'll tell you exactly who is winning.